robust. Okay, so any clients who buys a property to invest, to rent out in London will not have an issue with renting out their property. Okay, this also adds on, okay, to the positive house price growth that you see in the market over the last couple of years. So Savills has actually predicted, okay, that the UK property prices is expected to grow by 15% on an average, okay, by 2024. Okay, so on a year-on-year property price growth, I would say it's a relatively stable percentage that we see. It's anything between 3 to 5%. Okay, if anybody is looking to make, like 20-30% capital growth in the next 3 to 5 years, unfortunately, London and UK will not be this kind of market for them. So what kind of property market is London and UK? It is actually a stable and strong growth that you see on a year-on-year basis. So it's not as volatile as like some of the other markets that you see in like across the world. It's not like Singapore property where you have huge fluctuations of, like, maybe for example last year you have double-digit growth, and then the following couple of years you have like a decline, and then after that it grows very steeply again. It's not like that. It's a very slow and stable chart where every year the property grows by 3 to 5%. So if you were to plot the chart for the last 30 years, okay, UK property market, essentially every like 12 to 15 years it doubles. Yeah, so it's a very stable market. So for clients who are looking to invest, we usually tell them that it is a mid to long-term holding period. So they will not be able to, if they really want a quick flip, like they want to sell it, like buy for 1 year and then sell it within the next 1 or 2 years. Unfortunately, this is probably not the kind of market that we are looking at. Yeah, but it will. What the UK and London property market can give to clients is a very strong rental market as well as a stable growth. Okay, so the last one will be in terms of education. So just in London alone, there is actually more than 40 to 50 university institutions, and out of which, like you have some of the really world-renowned ones, which you've definitely heard before, like the London School of Economics, UCL, ICL, and so on and so forth. I'm going to show you a little bit more about the world-class education that London has to offer. Of course, Oxford and Cambridge are the 2 top universities in UK, but they're not located in London. So if anyone is looking to buy, is looking to send their kids to any of these 2 schools, usually we'll tell the client that it's probably not so ideal for them to be investing in a house in Oxford or Cambridge, because even though the student population there and the international student population there is great, but there is no like supporting in terms of economics as well as tourism in those areas to support their long-term property investment. So what a lot of times, right, we advise the client is to actually buy a house in London, rent it out, and then use the rental that they get from the house in London to pay for the rental for their kids if, let's say, they go to Oxford and Cambridge. Yeah, and eventually, if their kids, like finish their education and then they go back to Indonesia or they go somewhere else to work, then they can continue to rent out the apartment in London, or they can actually sell it away. Because I think the exit market for Oxford and Cambridge houses is definitely, less ideal as compared to buying a property in London. Okay, so next, for UK properties, just to give you an idea, it is pretty much a long leasehold compared to some of the other markets in the world. For example, Singapore. We always like to compare it to Singapore because I do know that many Indonesians love to buy Singapore properties. Generally, most of the UK properties, apartments that you see in London, they are 999 years leasehold. Even though it's not a freehold title, but 999 years is a relatively long time. It allows them plenty of time to hold the property, and you can even own it through multiple generations. Yeah. So this is one good and positive thing about buying a property in London. So the second one is financing options. Okay, this is very interesting because not many countries allows interest-only mortgages. Australia properties, yes, but unfortunately, currently, as of the market right now, when foreigners buy Australia properties, the Australian banks do not really lend to them anymore. Even if they do, it's probably to Australian PRs or Australian citizens. Then you're allowed to borrow from Australian banks that might be able to offer you interest-only mortgages. But unlike Australia, UK allows foreigners to apply for mortgages if they want to buy a UK property through UK banks. So all foreigners are eligible to borrow from UK banks, and only UK banks offer interest-only mortgages. There is also another option for foreigners to borrow, which is Singapore banks. So in Singapore, we have OCBC, UOB, Maybank, and CIMB that offers UK mortgages if clients are interested. But the thing is, currently, as of now, the interest rates that these four local banks are offering is actually higher than most of the UK banks. So, and also, just to let you know, if you want to borrow from a Singapore bank, you cannot take an interest only mortgage. You can only do a principal plus interest only mortgage. So, which is why a lot of our clients, after they consider the various options, they tend to go and apply for mortgages through UK banks. So, how do you do that? Okay, we have mortgage brokers who specifically does UK properties to help you do that. You don't have to go to